Hey,
What's up?
welcome to the first ever show. What's Biz Experience?
I can't hear that well, Grady.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, can you hear? You're good?
Yeah.
So I just want to introduce you guys to the new show. I mean, host Grady and Stefan Wynn. Now, in this episode, we'll discuss about athletes playing pro hoops in Southeast Asia and are they able to make a living? We have, hold on. We have two of the most feared defensive forces in Southeast Asia, Christien Charles and Justin Young. We'll get their insights on how they dealt and negotiated with their respective teams. Were they able to make a living playing pro here in Southeast Asia? Maybe they had a terrible experience. I guess we'll find out. Stay tuned. We'll get back as. Okay. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of the podcast for the fans. And what's up, Steph?
What's up?
How you doing, man? You ready to get this started?
Let's go.
All right, let's introduce you guys, Christien Charles and Justin Young.
What's up?
My
What's up,
guys.
guys? How you
doing,
guys
man?
doing?
Reunited. What's up, fellas?
It's been
great,
a while
man.
since I've last saw you guys.
It has. It has. When's the last time we saw you, Christian?
Man,
It's been what? Over a year now?
2019,
Shit.
early
Damn, that's crazy.
right before the
I mean, was it the last time you guys were playing together in the ABL?
Yeah, it was. This is pre-COVID, man, pre-pandemic, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy. I guess what? I mean, it was 2020. Was it March? When was the last time you guys seen each other?
I, I'm in there in
Mm,
January, like right after New Year's, I think it was. I remember Tech was Tech going on, right?
yeah, so yeah, almost 2 years now, man.
Yeah, man.
Wow. That's
Where are you guys currently? I mean, are you still in Thailand, Christian?
Yeah, I'm in Thailand. I've been here since I left there, and yeah, I'm in Phuket.
What you doing out there in Thailand?
Uh, man.
Yeah,
No,
the ball's life, huh?
I just played a 3-on-3 tournament with High Tech, and just been trying to aggressively cultivate, work with players, and trying to be like the Steph of Phuket, man.
hey, my
Trying
God.
to take it to the next level, man.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Pass along.
Yeah. How about you, Justin? I mean, are you back in Vietnam now?
Yeah, I'm been back in Vietnam for a couple of weeks now. Yeah, just trying to get back into it in the mix of things in Vietnam. It's good to see family back home for a couple of months, but it's time to get back to the real world here in Vietnam, working and stuff.
Yeah. What's the next step for you after you getting back here? And I mean, is it basketball related?
A little bit on and off basketball, and not so much basketball, just creating a career outside of basketball. Starting to lay a foundation for myself for after basketball, which is going to be probably the next few years. I don't know, maybe. So right now, I'm just working and seeing what opportunities there are to grow from it.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. I mean, in sports, a lot of guys they just play sports and then they just fall off the face of the earth. I mean, I guess for you, you're trying to build a life here in Vietnam. I would assume.
Yeah, it's true.
Is it the same thing for you, right, Steph? I mean, I don't know if you're officially retired from basketball, but I mean, next level is here.
No, but I agree with Justin. I mean, I think we're gonna touch these topics little bit on later too. But both me and Justin shared a lot about it. That our future is here, and we strongly believe that this is basketball has just started to grow here. Uh, we've been here with Saigon Heat for 10 years now, but I feel like it's still in the stage where we're grassroots on a lot of levels. So I'm super excited. So yeah, I'm with Justin on that part. I'm a stay here for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Thailand and Vietnam, they're pretty much, you know, they were at the lower end of the basketball, I guess, experience. But as you can tell, the last couple of years, they they blew up. Both countries, man,
Hmm.
their national team is looking good.
Hmm.
Growth, man.
What's your take on that, Christian? I mean, how's Thailand looking from your perspective? I mean, you've been there, you trained with the guys. How are they looking from a local standpoint?
Um, I think it's growing. I think it's continuing. You're seeing the locals get stronger. Um, evidence of that is like, he just went to Taiwan,
Hmm.
big belly, and I think that's like a good sign, like the progression and the direction of like the talent, and hopefully like players can see that and be inspired and follow suit. But overall, I see a lot of positives from the development, and just with a lot of former players getting involved with the younger generation too, and trying to make improvements in areas where you know things might have been lacking in the past. But definitely see progress being made.
That's great. I mean, that's something that maybe Steph and I can cover later on in Sports Biz Experience. I think there's a lot of things to cover for both Vietnam, Thailand, and other Southeast Asian countries. I mean, it seems like sports is kicking up over here, and it seems like everybody's really excited about it. So now it seems like you guys have been here for so long. Maybe some of the fans don't really know much about you guys. Talk about your college playing days. Christian, with you first. I mean, you played at Villanova. How was that?
And that was 2006, and like a long time ago in basketball years. But it's been really cool to see like from because I was there at the beginning of Coach Rice, like when he first came to Villanova, and it's been cool to see like how the program has grown over the years, man. Uh, like I didn't play a lot when I was there, and so like a lot of people may not even recognize and stuff Villanova and stuff. But some of my the guys that I played with, like Kyle Lowry and Randy Floyd, like just seeing that their careers over the years and how it kind of set up things for the guys that followed them to have somebody look towards, and then that's how I feel like people talk about culture and like, how to build programs and stuff for like the players, and it's cool to see like the guys that I were at Villanova with the impact that they made, and now over the years like the continuity of the type of players and characters that they get the development of the years from the program. So I haven't been back in a while, but this like that experience really helped me like moving up on to overseas and all that.
Yeah, I mean, and Justin, you didn't really come from a traditional basketball school. I know you went to Chapman University in Orange County. How was their program back in the days?
I mean, I was pretty much put in a lucky spot where Chapman was transitioning from an independent college in Division III to a conference college in Division III. So I believe the first year, my freshman year, being an independent school means that you have to win as many games as possible to make the NCAA tournament, which is a lot tougher than the conference play. So I got to experience that. We got to play more games. We got to play a lot more diverse programs throughout California. Some teams in Washington as well. So, being able to play different schools, different programs, and as a freshman, I didn't really understand how college basketball was supposed to work the lifestyle, right? With school, pretty much living on your own, with practice, school, traveling, not just traveling within same cities, but also outside the city. So everything was kind of new for me. I didn't really know what to expect coming in as a freshman. So after my first 2 years, we transitioned into a conference, a Skylight Conference, which is basically schools like Redland, Claremont, Pomona, Occidental, Caltech, all those schools, all those other private schools in California. in SoCal. So it was a different experience in the fact that we were able to compete for something, right? A conference tournament, a championship, a league championship, and it was a totally different experience. I love the fact that we were able to play for something, and it gave us more motivation to get into the big dance NCAA tournament. So yeah, I got the best of both worlds. Competition it was great. Obviously, it's not as good as Division II, Division I level, but it was fun having to play 4 years of college basketball. Continuing my career.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Steph? I mean, I know you come from Sweden. You don't come from a traditional college system like these guys. You can maybe share a little bit about your situation.
I mean, it's a little bit like, if I draw similarities to what they've been going through, is that you kind of have to grow faster in Europe, because right after high school, you throw yourself right into pro basketball. That's the only way to go, because university basketball or college basketball back in Europe is not as competitive or even existing in the same way like they do over there. So when I hear what Justin is going through, and then Villanova, which is a major program, I mean, that's just something that you see on TV from Europe. But no, I mean, it's something definitely that's missing over here, and I feel like it could grow, and that's why I'm talking about going back to what we're trying to start here, is that it's still a lot of grassroots level around here on competitional level. So like when I hear about what Justin was saying about the first 2 years being a non-conference, I didn't even know about that, but that must have forced him to grow even faster and laid a good foundation for him to come over to Vietnam for the first time.
Right. I mean, the system around the world is crazy. I mean, I wish it was all connected, like FIBA maybe took over. We don't know. Yeah, I mean, what was your guys' takeaway on coming out from Sweden to to United States, and hearing about you guys wanting to pursue basketball in Southeast Asia? I mean, Christian, you had such a long career here in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I have been playing in like Europe and the Middle East, and by the time I got here, I was like 32 years old. So, but I wasn't familiar with the basketball scene in Southeast Asia. But when I got here, I was surprised at how like many countries, and like when I saw the ABL and how that was kind of like a mini EuroLeague as far as being different countries involved in the league. So,
how'd you guys even hear about Southeast Asian basketball? I mean, where we come from, we didn't even know it exists out here.
Yes, you.
Yeah, go ahead.
From my side of things, I heard about the VBA, Vietnam League, through my assistant coach, my ex-assistant coach from college. He told me about a tryout for a new league that's opening up in Vietnam, and asked me if I was Vietnamese. I had to check my parents to see if I was Vietnamese at first to make sure I'm eligible to play. When I found out I was, I just went to go check it out. I've never heard of it before. I did not know what to expect. I did not even know Vietnam has basketball teams or whatsoever, or even Southeast Asia in general. I mean, all I heard was the PBA in the Philippines, because it was pretty well known, and the CBA in China, and also what was it, in Taiwan? They had what do you call it? What was that? The league that they had, the old league that they had. I'm not sure. SBO.
SBO.
Yeah, the SBO. Because I went to Taiwan before. I know about the SBO, CBA, and PBA. And other than that, I don't know. I didn't have any idea what other Asian leagues they had. The smaller Asian countries. I knew Korea had one. I knew Japan had one, but I didn't know other countries had it. So it was a shock to me when I found out.
Did you believe it when you heard that Vietnam had its league?
I didn't believe it until I went to the tryouts. When I met people, in person to see, okay, this is a legit thing. It's a real thing that's going to happen. got more info on it, and met with some higher up people from the VBA, and just went from there. I was excited at first. I was really excited, to be playing not just professionally, but just continue my basketball career as much as I can.
Yeah. I know, Christian, you had a long career with High Tech, right? I mean, I think that's where you started your Southeast Asian basketball career.
I first started with a different team called Slammers, the
Oh,
Thailand.
Slammers. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, they had like a different ownership, um, and that's like the first team I started with. Kobe Bryant's dad was the coach, and then
Oh shit!
Hmm.
that was a cool experience. But that's the first team I played for, and then they left the league and High Tech came in, and I had played in the TBL after my first year in the ABL. High Tech was in the TBL and they joined the ABL, so that's how I got the High Tech. But yeah, same thing like Justin said. I wasn't aware of some of the smaller countries having leagues prior to that.
I mean, how did your parents react to you guys going to Southeast Asia just to play basketball? I mean, it must have been a shock to them. I mean, were they supportive of that? Go
Who
ahead, Justin.
Go ahead. Oh,
Justin.
me? Okay,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
with that. As having Asian parents, they don't support sports in general as a career because they didn't see that as a money making
Hmm.
uh, stable job. Unless you make it to the big leagues. Which I definitely I had no chance. So for me, um, I had to prove to them that I can make a career out of this, or make a living, not just making
Hmm.
money, but also having a stable life, having a stable job, or just having to live on my own
Hmm.
out here with no family out here that I know, and making whatever money I can make out here, just trying to survive and live comfortably. So it took them some time, but I was able to convince them in the end that I can make a life out here. That's why I'm out here. You know, like 10 months, 11 months out of the year, rather than the other way around.
How
Yeah.
about you, Christian? I mean, how did your parents feel about it?
well, first, man. Like this might be off a little topic a little bit, but when I hear like some of the players with like Vietnamese heritage that grew up in like other countries, and then like when I talk to Quad and I talk to Steph as well, like how basketball brought you back to Vietnam and having that connection, uh, like giving you another connection to the country.
Hmm.
That made me look at the whole experience a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like where it was like deeper than basketball. But like when I hear people talk about, it seemed like everybody had like this interesting backstory to like their parents, and then like how their relationship is with the players' relationship is to the country, and how basketball is connected. That's a little bit off topic, but I just thought about that when you talk about
Yeah.
the parents and how they feel. But for me, um, by the time I had, like I said, I was 32, so they were used to me being away. Going overseas was like a big. Uh, they just wanted me to continue. People supported me from the beginning with my family. Like they just wanted me to. Basketball was always like a vehicle for me to, to see the world and do what I love to do. So back at home in Milwaukee, my family was always like encouraging that if I needed to get to early on, when I want to grind, if I need to get to workouts, my aunt's just looking out for me. Them use their car, I was taking my car keys and everything. Like they really uh, wanted to see me succeed. So
Yeah. I
that
mean,
was part of
yeah.
my career.
I mean, Steph, did your parents react differently compared to the other guys? I mean, was your mom or dad very supportive of you playing pro hoops? Because like you said, in Europe, you played pro earlier in your career.
Yeah, I mean, I told my club back in Sweden I will be 1 year in, 1 year out. I said I'll go try it out 1 year, play it for 1 year, and then come back to what normal is to me. But what I quickly realized was that it's something about Vietnam, it's something about Saigon that makes you stay out here. You know, the comfortability of the dollar goes way further here. Just very, how to say it, the basketball scene here, as much as it's not as organized as back home, it has something to it that makes that makes basketball more fun here to play. So like people are more engaged, the fan base, the organization, it's very professional still. Like my first impression of professional basketball in Vietnam was really professional. So I mean, I have nothing bad to say about that. But other than that, they still my parents, they all supportive. They love it. Coming back to Vietnam, to wherever they come from. I mean, that's what they wanted me to do from the beginning when they got over to Sweden. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're just gonna dive right into it. You know, can you make a living playing pro in Asia? I mean, even though your parents are supportive, people want to know, man, can you make a living doing it? I mean, Justin, what are your thoughts on that?
I got many thoughts, but are we talking about Asia in general, or are we talking about Southeast Asia? It's completely different.
Yeah. So, I guess in your experience playing in Vietnam, because this is where your career, your pro career started. So start with the first year in 2016 when you arrived in Vietnam playing for the City Wings.
So when it comes to like money making and stuff like that in Vietnam, you have to look at both ways. One as a Vietnamese local, and how much they make on average, and one as a foreigner, as a Vietnamese American, Vietnamese Swedish, or whatever you are, Vietnamese foreign Vietnamese player. You know, come from a different country where the dollar, you know, is completely different from Vietnam. So when it comes to Vietnamese standards, playing pro ball is definitely can make you enough money where you can live comfortably during your career. I say that because I've played with a lot of teammates where their salary goes from, you know, as high as 20 million a month, which is about almost $1,000, to as low as, you know, 4 or 5 million a month, which is $200 depending on the level of player you are.
Yeah.
So
you kind of scared me saying million, bro. That's a lot of money, but you guys don't know it's in Vietnamese dong.
Vietnamese dong. So I mean, coming in, you know, I was just excited to play. So I didn't care what money I made. What money I made.
Yeah.
You know, I was just excited to play. So as I grew older and learned more about the culture of Vietnam and the league in general, I was kind of, you know, I was kind of thinking to myself, you know, can I do this long enough where this would benefit me in the long term? Would I be able to make enough money to save up to you know, build something after my career? Like most leagues, or, you know, especially the big ones, they have plans for the players who retire. They have you know, whether it's a investment plan or a retirement plan for the players, they have something that's set up for them where if they retire, or when they retire, they have something to lean back on, whether it's a job or, you know, extra money. Something that's not here yet, because basketball is relatively new in Vietnam, which I hope it's going to happen soon, because most of the players I see now, local players and heritage players, play ball for their career. After they're done, they're done. They have nothing to fall back on. They have to find their own job. Mostly the basketball players, you know, they have no, generally speaking, they don't have an education, whereas other, you know, careers, you know, require a master's degree or whatever, a college degree. So, you know, that's lacking in that sense where, you know, as basketball players, we have to, you know, start thinking about the future faster than other people. Yeah. Because, you know, once that career is over, you know, you have to start back from zero, which is you know, the hard part of being a sports athlete. if we have nothing to fall back on.
Yeah, I mean, Southeast Asia, we have a very special situation where they split players into three categories. You have the local guys, you have the heritage guys that maybe their parents are born from that country, and you have an import like Christian. I mean, can you share your thoughts on that, Christian? From coming from from an import standpoint, can you make a living playing, pro in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, the salaries. Yeah, I think that players have been able to make a decent living. It's not like anything extravagant, but it's 7, 8 months out of the year. Guys make something that's consistent, but it's not stable. Even if you sign a contract, you can get released from the team, and sometimes there's gaps in between. Where you guys get cut and they go home, and then you gotta living off your savings from that prior contract, or injury or anything like that. So although you can make a decent amount of money, things happen, and it's not like stable as people might think. So kind of going back to what Justin was saying, like even though imports make a certain amount, like they make more money than some of the smaller leagues here in Southeast Asia, some of the local, it's not. It's very fragile sometimes, right? So I think COVID kind of opened up people's eyes, saying like, "Yo, it's I made a certain amount of money here, but when it stops, what do I have to fall back on? Because it's not like the NBA where guys, you can chill for people to retire or have a time period where you got guaranteed money coming in. A lot of times this isn't guaranteed. It's like prorated, right? So contract says one thing, but if you get hurt or cut or have a bad whatever, that's not stable. But you can, if you find your niche and like have some consistency and blessed enough to stay healthy and perform well, you can string together nice income. But again, like I said, it's a short time frame.
Yeah, I know contract negotiation in Southeast Asia can be a little bit interesting. I know that's something that maybe we can cover in future episodes. Are like agents? Do they help you guys in Southeast Asia? Things like that. I mean, I guess the next thing is, does long-term contract exist in Southeast Asia, or is it kind of like season by season, or depending on what these teams need? I mean, does it exist? Christian, how about you?
For me, my experience, most of the contracts is like one year, it goes season by season, and then if you're lucky, you get a multi-year, like 2 years or something like that. But for the most part, it's been season by season, and yeah.
How about you, Justin? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, Justin, how about you?
These long year contracts, I think I haven't really. I mean, I went season by season until recently, where I would sign a 2 year deal. But I think that can only happen for leagues that have more than half the year playing basketball, or something to do with that team. Because why would the team spend money on you, paying you year round, if you're just gonna play for 4 or 5 months out of the year? I understand that from the business side of things. So that's why I like the multi-year contracts you see mostly in the Philippines, where they have three different cups in the PBA. In teams like in countries like Vietnam or Malaysia, Singapore, where they don't have games, or the leagues that happen year round, seasonal contracts is what they go. This is what they go by. Even in ABL, it would go a 2 years contract, but they would only pay you for that season. So I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really count as I mean, it's a long-term deal, but you still get paid only for that season. So, which I've gotten for Saigon Heat for 2 years in ABO. It was it was great because you know that you have a secure job for the next year. But that time off, that off season where you have 6 months out of the year where you don't play ball or train, you got to find something else to do because you're not getting paid.
Yeah, I know. Just recently, Vietnam teams they like you said they offer longer term contracts, not multi year but longer terms. Like maybe you can join in on their extracurricular to make extra money on the side while the off season. I think you have a little bit of experience on that, right, Justin?
Yeah. So this long term 1 year, 2 year deals that heritage players, even local players can sign. You would have to work uh, work for the company, for the team, or for the team name, or the company that owns the team to make that extra money, which is great because you get job security in that aspect, long term, and even during the off season of basketball, you can still work and get paid. So that's definitely something that they have grown better doing. The league has, and even certain teams have done a better job at that. And so the
Mhm.
players are more inclined to stay with that same team for the long run.
Yeah, I mean, Vietnam teams they're pretty committed to the heritage players, right? That want to stay here long term and help build their program and their team. Vietnam
Right.
basketball, it's so new. Um, Christian, is what's the situation like for you currently in? I mean, I guess in Thailand. I know you have your cultivated academy, and is this sort of a similar situation? Are they kind of using your program to help train the grassroots level?
Um, it's pretty much like independent now. Like I do private trainings and do some community things, and not like connected with the league or anything here. But that's kind of what I've been doing outside of. There hasn't been a lot of playing opportunity, so when I'm older, and so I do cultivate training, and then if anything comes up, I'm like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So if anything comes up as far as playing, like the 3-on-3 that just happened, try to stay in decent shape so I can play in those, and like having the time, the flexibility a little bit with just being independent gives me a chance to do that for right now because I'm just starting out
Yeah.
with it.
Oh man. Okay. Um, Now, you, with you guys being in Vietnam and in Southeast Asia long term, do you guys get like an opportunity from brands? Do they, approach you for sponsorship? Is that something that exists in Southeast Asia? Justin, how about you, man?
My own experience is well in Vietnam because I've been here, long enough where the basketball is growing. Brands and deals are still kind of hesitant on the sport because it's so new and they don't see an upside to it. Business wise, it's not an advantage for these brands to use basketball as their vehicle of I guess of showing their brands out. So I have been approached by smaller brands. I have been approached for one time one time events, one time deals, nothing long term, no contracts. Um, no, I mean, sometimes there's money involved. Sometimes it's mostly products. But the bigger brands, they bigger brands like the sports brands like Nike, Under Armour, Adidas. It's tough for them to get these players and get teams, especially to sponsor them for not just money but product as well because they don't see it as an upside for them. They do for football though, which is big in Vietnam. Business wise, they make a lot of money. They make a lot more money than any other sport in Vietnam. So it's understandable why they do that.
Maybe Steph, you have a little bit of experience about these brands. I mean, I know you worked with a lot of them. Can you share a little bit about your experience and maybe educating the viewers about that?
I mean, I think I was lucky because I was one of the first guys coming back. in the same category as Justin as a heritage player. So I mean, coming back, it was me and another good friend of mine, David Arnold. We got almost all the deals. So back then, it was basically us. Just back then, it was just Saigon Heat that was competing for in the ABL. There was no VBA, so it wasn't that much for the brands to choose between. More than foreigners with a Vietnamese background was very attractive for them. So, I mean, I've been working with Nike since then. What is it now? 3 years. And I feel like as a basketball player, I want to touch back on that topic that Justin was talking about. You have to grow faster, and you have to somehow stay independent, and you become more business savvy here than I believe that I would have become if I was back in Europe, because there's a lot of things, negotiations and stuff that you kind of have to figure out by yourself by mistakes that I've been making. So, I mean, from these, if we only talk about these brand deals, I mean, yeah, there are money. There is a lot of money involved. I've had money that I made. I mean, $10,000, and then there's been $500. So it varies from what type of company that's been reaching out to you. My biggest thing back then until this date is that I never knew when the next paycheck would come in. I mean, between the seasons. So I always saved that, and then everything that was in between the seasons, I would actually just pay myself from everything that was made out of it. So one funny story that I have, that I had a really good teammate back in Da Nang. His name, I think all of you guys know him, but Horace Nguyen. He was really good with that part. He was always talking about like how to make it sustainable, how to make all this opportunity, how to keep it to your advantage. And I mean, it's easy for a basketball player in Asia to complain about the money part and everything, but I feel like there's a lot of opportunities that they don't really take. And I think this program that we have is something we will touch a lot of topics on that one. So, I mean, yeah, there's brand deals that you can make money off, but it doesn't come that often as you think. And if you get them, I mean, I'm still not playing basketball. I'm not playing anymore as active as the professional players right now. But what I've learned is that networking while you have those opportunities is crucial. It's crucial. So like even to this date, when I have my own academy, I'm still sponsored by several brands because I kept that relationship very close to me and made it a personal relationship. So yeah, I'm lucky in that part, but I also want to educate the next generation that comes in that there's a lot to it than just playing basketball, shooting hoops, and trying to score as much buckets. There's a lot to it that you can learn on a business level.
Yeah, so it seems like, with your experience, there's opportunities for the next generation. I mean, they just gotta, like you said, network and, come here and really be committed to, I mean, not saying that they can just commit to Vietnam or commit to their country, but if they're here, they need to utilize their opportunity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like Justin has done a great
yeah.
job on that. There's a lot of guys done a great job on it, but that's why you see some of us guys still here, staying here, because we done that. We done that dirty work, or how to say, or like we done that networking. Because like I respect Justin a lot on a business level. Like he's been great, and I think a lot of guys after me and Justin can take after, and really, there's a lot of opportunity here. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. How about from an import level, Christian? Do you guys get an opportunity to work with brands? Because I know imports, they kind of have this thing where they go in and out, they play for their teams, and then they kind of leave for their next destination. What's your take on that?
First, yeah, man, Steph and Justin, y'all, I've been watching like how you have like marketed yourselves, man. I've seen Steph on Elle magazine, and Justin, you hopping out the Audi or something like that. And I love it. Really using your platform, man. I mean, like Steph said, man, I think it teaches you about like business and learning mistakes and going out I used to be of the mind of like a purist. Like I used to think it was kind of like, all right, I just got to focus on basketball. I ain't trying to be showy or it looks bad to my peers if I'm out here doing stuff for like advertising myself. I should focus on basketball. But I wish I would have been more proactive in my career early on. Because as long as you put in the work as a player, you should benefit from the other side of it as well, because the teams are going to do it anyway. And then the next guy's going to come on and they're going to do the same thing with him. So you should take a hold of your career and use that to give you opportunities. And like Steph said, while you're playing, do as much connections you have, networking, because that's when your people are more inclined to connect, right, and try to help you out. But for an import standpoint, I wasn't really active when I was going from country to country. But I think that's a benefit for players that play overseas. Is like you can connect with different audiences when you're going from place to place. An example of that is like Akeem. I just seen him. He was in Vietnam. I think he does a good job. But he just created his own brand. But for me, like personally, I haven't had any big time sponsorships or anything. I did something small with during the NBA, and it's like a lot of it's just product stuff. But I think players should really take that part and learn about business. And again, I know as purists and like as hoopers, you like, man, I ain't trying to be all showy, but like that's a part of the game that you don't do it like somebody else is going to take it up. This is sports business, right? So I'm really a proponent of that. As long as you handling business on the court, make sure that you're using your name, image, and likeness too to give you opportunities off the court, because it's not like the NBA where they have guys that are agents and companies that help push that forward. And us over here, we like kind of have to do it on our own. I think that gives us a lot of skills.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been here for, I mean, I would say Steph, Justin, and we've been here for at least 6-7 years in Vietnam now, and we're starting to see the transition from these local guys. It seems like they're focusing on marketing themselves. They're kind of building their own brand. Some of them are even doing their own academies now, just to like you said, you can't really sometimes make too much money just playing pro. You got to find something else to do.
Mm-hmm.
Steph, I think, I mean, you may have the most experience out of all of us with you playing pro to maybe launching next level. Can you share a little bit about that experience and for the next generation?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was a pretty simple decision for me. I mean, back then I've been playing here for 4 years already, and I was active. I was playing. Everything was all fine, but it comes to a point when you think you have to think further than your nose. You have to think further than what you see. You have to think a future. If I really wanted to stay here and start a family here and really stay here for a while, I had to do something that had to be a business outside of basketball and outside of myself playing basketball. And my thing was that if I could do that and still stay within basketball, that would be a dream job. And I've just been lucky. I was one of those guys here that saw that opportunity early, and it was nothing against the VBA and the salary I've been paid here. Everybody, like we just talked about, like we've been being paid well when we are playing, but the months that we are not playing are the ones that I'm worrying about. So that's what I mean by seeing it further than your nose, because my thing is that my plan has always been, I mean, I'm at the love of my life here. I want to stay here, and I just wanted to find something sustainable that could keep me year round, that wasn't offered back then. And I didn't want to rely on my sponsorships. I wanted to rely on something that could come in on a consistent basis, like every month. And when that opportunity came, I took it, and I never regretted it ever since, because I mean, I still see the professional players now as being a coach for the Nine Dragons, or having some of the guys over and training at the facility. It's just what I realized is that that comfortability I had during the years that I was playing was such a short. It was like a short-term comfortability. Whereas right now, I can see basketball as something that I would still enjoy, but through teaching, but also through playing whenever I can and whenever I want to. So, like, I really see it as something that I feel like more players have to do right now if they want to stay, especially the heritage players and imports. And you can't be too foreign to do different things. I mean, I see guys starting YouTube channels. I see guys starting brands, selling shirts, and I love it. Like I support all business outside of basketball that you're trying to do to keep yourself relevant in making yourself out here. So, like when I see that stuff going on, I support it. So from a basketball standpoint, like we've been touched on, like you're making like what, like $1,000, $2,000 throughout the season. But like I said, like that dollar goes far when you're out here. But you got to figure out, what do you want to do when the season is not around? What can you do? What strings can you pull? When you get to that point, you kind of find yourself at, okay, I just got to figure out somehow. Like I can't just sit on my butt back home. I got to figure it out somehow. And I think that's what forces you to grow as a person rather than just a basketball player out here.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for sharing your guys' sports biz experience. I know basically for you viewers out there, for your future athletes that want to play in Southeast Asia, give us a like and follow, listen to these guys like Justin and Stefan and Christian, learn from them, from their experience. If you guys want to play pro, there's also other opportunities out there, man. All right, guys. So thanks for sharing your experience, and we're going to end the stream now. Any questions, any tips for the future athletes, Christian?
Justin, go ahead. I'll follow you now. I'll follow.
Okay, Justin. Yeah, just small tips. Some guys that they just want to think about playing pro here.
Pretty much what we've been talking about. Just it's more than just basketball when it comes to professional sports. Not just basketball, any kind of professional setting. You have to be a professional, act like a professional, and think like a professional. Right? Think long term. Don't just think about playing the game. You have to be about the game. You have to learn from the game, and take that and use it for your career in the future, whether it's into business or into investments or whatever it is. Use the opportunity, use the stuff that you learn playing basketball, playing the sport that you love, and build a career out of it. That's one thing that I've learned most, and I'm really grateful for the sport of basketball. When I do eventually hang up my shoes, I'll take a look back at what I've accomplished and what I will accomplish, and just go from there. So just build off, create a brand, build off of what you created in the past.
Christian, man, anything to add on that?
Just to continue on what Justin was saying, everything that he said, but try to do it as soon as possible. The earlier, the better, because when you wait and when you're older, it becomes it's harder. It's harder because you become so deeply connected to just the basketball side. It's hard to explain this, but it's harder to transition the longer you wait, because you can get those skills earlier, as far as building a brand or finding out what you want to do off the court. I think it's easier to do it early on, and also while you're still playing, to reach out or to build whatever you want to do off the court, whether it's real estate, whether it's basketball, whatever you want to be a part of the game, close to the game. The sooner the better. It's harder to do it because you get so connected to just the basketball part. And then when you get older, it's hard. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, I understand. I mean,
You know,
everybody has their own pathway that they have to take. I mean, Southeast Asia is crazy out here. But yeah, thanks for sharing your
Mhm.
stories, and the fans. Remember to subscribe to the Sports Biz Experience. You can learn more about other players' experience, other businesses, and development of Southeast Asian sports. Thanks, guys. Thanks, man.
man.
Appreciate you guys. Good
Appreciate
seeing
it.
you guys again.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it,
Stay
guys.
safe. Stay safe out there, man. Stay safe.
You too.
We'll catch you in the future episodes.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
See you.